them into uncomfortable positions. When that happens, I think Talon look pretty damn good. They look good last game. Will they look good here in game number 2? If they do, then they are going to be putting themselves in a position to still keep the TI-11 dream alive. So let's get into the game, Fluke, and see if 23 Savage on the Pangalia safe lane is yet again going to show us something new. Man, these last 2 days, we've seen so many interesting picks. Safe lane Pango, off lane Ember, off lane Silencer. It's been wonderful. Where else but TI will you see this kind of stuff, man?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the beauty of having these 4 days of group stages, right? The fact that it is 2 groups of 10. There is so much Dota that these guys have to play. They have to play 18 games of Dota. They have to play a lot of Dota, and that means you're able to make a lot of these iterations. And the thing about TI, and the thing about TI champions, it's all about who can either set the tempo first or who can make these adaptations throughout the entirety of the tournament. It's a very, very long tournament. There's a lot of Dota that gets being played. There's a lot of adaptations that need to be made as well. And that's why I like when we see these changes up from a lot of these teams about, you know, we're throwing the Shadow Fiend in the safe lane. No, we're throwing the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane. We're seeing Enigmas being played as 4 or 3. We're seeing a lot of these different offlaners, a lot of these different carries. And I like this from Talon. It's kind of do or die, you know. At this point, them playing standard straight up Dota hasn't gotten them to the point where they're secured in these group stages. So they're going to have to play something that's a little bit different. And I like this audible. Is it going to work out, though? That's the real question for me. Is it going to actually work out? Is Pure just going to have one of those free games on the Drow and do a lot of work? I think Mikoto has definitely instilled a lot of hope for me for this Talon roster with how he played in that previous game on the Lena. So let's see if it works out.
At the same time, though, Entity playing, you know, you're saying that Talon, they needed to switch things up. Talon has switched things up, but Entity have gone back to more standard style for them. This is a kind of fare that brought them into the tournament in such hot steam to begin with. Stormstormer playing one of these carry heroes from the mid lane. We've got this uber stacked Drow Ranger for Pure, and Toby actually playing a team fighter, whilst Kataomi is allowed to be aggressive on the map. I think that no matter what, this one is going to be a good one. Yesterday, we saw against BetBoom and OG that you can win a game 1 in a do or die scenario and then falter in game 2. So let's hope that Talon doesn't find themselves in a similar position. Mid lane, we haven't seen this matchup in a while, but top, we'll almost have Fishman taking quite a bit of damage, but he's fine. He's okay. He's fine. He's okay.
Yeah, getting a 2-man decay always feels pretty nice for Fishman. So this is the biggest thing for me is this lane's going to be relatively strong for Entity. Fishman's going to be able to just be in the face of the Dawnbreaker. The Drow Ranger can always try and keep her space with the Frost Arrows. So as long as they don't overstep their bounds and overplay their hand a little bit, they should be relatively okay. They've got a lot of kill threat, though, coming in from the Vengeful Spirit as well as the Dawnbreaker. So I'm really looking towards Entity to try and have a good lane here for Pure, because we've seen a lot of their games go well when Pure has a good time. So they can get that game going off to a hot start here for Mr. Pure. It should be A-okay. Mid lane, though, this is going to be a pretty straightforward kind of farm fest. The Shadow Fiend can do a really good job into the Lina. I don't think the Lina nor the Shadow Fiend really loses this lane all too much, and I think it's going to be about the rotations. They've got a lot of good rotators for both these teams. Atani and the Nyx Assassin, very, very good rotators. Same with the Vengeful Spirit, right? So there's going to be a lot of rotations early. There's going to be a lot of uses of these power runes. So I'm really looking towards Talon or Entity to make that first move and try and enable either Stormstormer or Mikoto. I think they're going to be the key factors for both these two teams.
Oh, absolutely. These are the actual carriers of both of their games from the mid lane. It is a bit unfortunate that they're laning up against each other, because over the last several days, we've had very exciting mid lane matchups. This is going to be boring as hell. Just a farm test. Nobody dies here. Unless supports move around, nothing actually happens. So you need to pay attention to the parts of the map where the supports are. And two of these heroes that you've outlined, Tiny as well as the Nyx Assassin, playing into each other right now to try and create space. 23 Savage, we've already seen that with this Swashbuckle, you mentioned it earlier, he can clear out these Eidolons. I'm sure some of the CS that he's been able to pick up right now comes from that, but him just having access to Swashbuckle means that Kataomi and Toby can't really threaten him, so it just has a pretty free time. But top lane, the threat is actually coming into the Drow Ranger. You mentioned that this lane has aggressive kill potential, and they managed to find it in the top lane, bringing down the Drow Ranger super early on. And Fishman, some deja vu for him, having to watch his carry die in front of his face yet again.
Yeah, I think KP and Hyde were doing a really good job of just getting a lot of these efficient HP trades, and then as soon as they saw any of this momentum to go forward, just went in with the Celestial Hammer and the Star Breaker, and that was all she wrote there for the Drow Ranger. This is kind of the issues that he's going to have throughout the entirety of this game. The Celestial Hammer is going to be very, very hard for him to try and play around with. It does a lot of damage, does a lot of slows as well. And once this game starts getting later on as well, he's going to have to worry about an Invis Nyx Assassin.
Yep. Invis Nyx Assassin set up from the Dawnbreaker from the heavens. This game does not get much easier for Pure, so he needs to try and make sure that he gets off to as raucous a start as humanly possible. For 23 Savage, what do you want to see being built up from him from the safe lane here on this Pangolier?
I think just like Diffusal into Blink will be really nice here for 23 Savage. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage. Diffusal is a really good item in this game. And then if he just gets like something along the lines of like a Basher, even an Aghanim Scepter, I wouldn't hate to see that. We haven't seen all too many Pangos go for the Aghanim Scepter, but just I would like to see him try and go down this damage route for the Pangolier. Yeah, he's going to be the space creator for Makoto, but the fact that you have this position 1 Pangolier, he's still going to get a lot of resources being thrown in towards his pocket. So I want to see him go for things along the lines of like the Diffusal Blade, the Blink Dagger, the Aghanim Scepter, the Basher, and just kind of be one of those Pangos that just do a whole lot of damage in these team fights.
You were asking for rotations earlier. Right now, Hyde just making sure to secure some water runes for the Lina to make life difficult for the Shadow Fiend here. Stormstormer gonna actually be in a bit of trouble. Makoto's got the high ground positioning. He's got LSA available as well. Just gonna try and bounce him out of the lane. All these right clicks. He actually might die here. Very, very close. 150 HP. He didn't want to commit the Dragon Slave level 3 in the event that it missed, and he was underneath the tower as well, but nonetheless, Makoto has now earned himself a free lane in middle for the next little while.
Yeah, he had raindrops as well on Stormstormer, so even if the Dragon Slave did connect, he wouldn't have been able to kill him. So Makoto understood that as long as he just kicks him out of the lane, then he's going to be perfectly happy with how this game is going. I think these lanes are just going really, really well here for Talon. Doing a good job. Yeah. KP0 is a little bit behind on the CS, but his lane was not supposed to go immaculately. He's playing up against an Undying, he's playing up against a Drow Ranger. They did well enough to be able to get the first blood, and you know, once he gets to level 6 here on the Dawnbreaker, once they get level 6 on Q, oh, this might be a kill though. Oh my god.
Well, a lot easier to get close to level 6 when you're just killing heroes for fun and they bring down Fishman in the top lane. That's every single time I'm always surprised by how much damage comes out of Starbreak. I'm like, oh wow, okay. That's a lot.
Especially early levels in the Luminosity as well. Just that free crit damage is pretty strong. Are they going to kill Drow as well?
Gonna try to. Gus gets pushed back onto the 2 heroes. Pure stays alive. Could have been a really awkward position, but does manage to not die. Q in the meantime down bottom, being chased around by Kataomi on this tiny. One more right click should be able to attain the kill. Kataomi with the boots, very happy to be able to catch up to the Nyx Assassin who lack them at this point.
Yeah, that was a trade that just kind of went for a little bit of regen. I think Toby and Kataomi are doing a good job at you know, just giving Toby a good time. He's 27 and 12 right now. A lot of those eyes have just been by the fact that he spawns the Eidolons, but he's doing a really, really good job right now. They're going to have a bit of agency in this game. Toby's going to have a pretty fast Wraith pack. They're going to be okay with how he's going. Going to go for an Urn early on, though. Okay, I like this. They need the Spirit Vessel, right? Because they're playing up against the Dawnbreaker. Oh, 23 Savage. He's dead.
Nice toss back into Toby.
Oh,
Toby doesn't die because Q comes out of nowhere with the Impale to bring down the Enigma. 23 Savage does eventually get brought down by Kataomi. But Toby died first, so he gives up the experience to the Pangolier. That was not in the script for the side of Entity. Things were going so well in this bottom lane before they got that kill loss. Well, it happens. These things do occur. But take a quick look at the middle. Yeah, I was about to say that. Hyde gets the stun out, but Makoto not in position to drop the LSA. Stormstormer had some awareness that something might have been awry, so he was positioned in a very safe place so he doesn't end up losing his life.
Yeah, it was a little bit awkward for Makoto as well. He couldn't push past the tier 1 tower because he didn't have the creeps getting the aggro up the tower. Did a lot of damage on the Stormstormer, but they would have liked to have been able to convert that into a kill. Makoto's still going to stick around here, though. Okay, I thought he was going to go for like an LSA Dragon Slave play. He's got a lot of damage at level 7 here on the Lina. I like the vision that comes in from Talon as well. You can see that Kataomi kind of understands that this bench has been here for a long time, and might try to get the kill here on a Fishman top, though.
It's not a try, my friend. It's a successful kill, as they'll be able to pick him up. The Tombstone being dropped down, though, might enable Pure to find some revenge, but doesn't have enough damage just yet. They take out the Tombstone. Hyde will drop the Magic Missile. Can he get away from the Drow Rangers? In the trees right now. Cannot afford to get hit by another instance of the Frost Arrows. And using the vision, will be able to dodge it. Yeah, Makoto's come in as well. Makoto making this a turnaround onto Pure and compounding the misery of the Drow as he gets a kill with this Lina. Great rotation. You always feel so nice being able to come top without even needing to use the power rune. And that's going to be Talon Esports yet again, making the early game much more favorable for themselves.
Yeah, the way Talon are rotating around the map, it's also hard for Entity to try and deal with this. They put a lot of pressure on the Pure. They've killed him, what, 2-3 times now? At this point, twice. And it's starting to get really hard for this Drow Ranger to play this game. And Makoto's off to a rip-roaring start once again. 4.2k net worth on this Lina. He's going to have an early BKB. I wouldn't hate to see if he just goes for, like, Boots of Travel early on and just plays really fast around his Pangolier, plays really fast around his Mixed Assassin. Gonna go for
Asking you wait for the BKB bots. Yeah, they come in for the Solar Guardian. Toby being looked at. No Black Hole available for a counterplay as he's only level 5. One more hit on the Rolling Thunder should be good enough to put him to rest, but they miss it. Swashbuckle is instead the option. Does cost literally all the mana that 23 Savage has, but it's all okay. Mid lane though, they might find Pure as well. Will the LSA connect? It will not. So you will be able to escape away from this. And the question is, will the same be true for Hyde? And the answer is no. One more right click from Stormstormer should be able to kill him. They give the kill towards Pure as the Magic Stick bought additional time. And Erstwhile in the top lane, as they recognize that there's no heroes up on the side of the map except for Fishman, Talon punish him quickly and get that kill. The thing I wanted to talk to you about though, Fluke, look at this network of Stormstormer. He got demolished by Makoto, and Makoto is keeping the hurt on him. Not only is he beating him in the network department, he's now beating him into submission, throws him into the fountain with some right clicks. That's not in the script. 23 is gonna die though. One more right click. They don't even need it. Fishman gets it. Dude, so much is happening on this map right now, actually.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Makoto might potentially kill Pure again. So Raindrop's OP. They did save him from that Dragon Slave as well as the Laguna Blade combination. But Talon are playing at breakneck speed. They understand that their heroes, once again, don't really have to rely on too many cooldowns. They've got Rolling Thunder, they've got Solar Guardian, and Laguna Blade. They're all roughly around about the same time. So it's not all too hard for Talon to come into this series here or into this game and just continue the breakneck pace. You can see here once again the invisibility rune comes in from Makoto. 23 Savage makes the rotation. Don't even have the Laguna Blade. Doesn't even matter because they just take down Stormstormer and Makoto, man. Every single time that I see this guy play Dota, every single time that I see this guy smile, and you know that he's having a good time. And he is one of those players that comes from Southeast Asia that when he starts to feel himself, he can do a whole lot of work. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be very exciting to see if this Lina goes untouched once again. And maybe that's what Talon rides for the rest of the day. I think if you're Secret right now, you say, man, do we have to first ban a Lina? Like, Poppy's sitting here thinking to himself, like, is this really what I'm about to do in my final game of group stage? Is first ban a Lina?
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. If it results in the W, then it's an acceptable maneuver. Right now, though, Entity need to find some way to come back into the game for themselves, especially for Stormstormer. The Shadow Fiend still trying to angle towards getting a Dragon Lance, but it's going to be a long road before he feels like a viable threat in this game, as Makoto, right now, the strongest hero on the map, just beating down onto the tier 1 tower top. They should be able to take it. Doesn't look like the trade is coming just yet for Entity. They are rotating heroes down, though, as we look on the mini-map and see them stacking up. It's only 23 Savage here, but he does have Rolling Thunder. Most of his squad does have access to TP, so I wonder if they'll come down and try to mount a defense, and that's indeed what they're going to do. They're going for this. They also go in with the Vendetta, but they have the Sentry Rune, but unfortunately, they have the Rolling Thunder first. Black Hole will be there, cancelled out immediately by the Nyx Assassin by Carapace as Makoto comes in on the back end of the fight, already eliminated on the Toby Enigma. Savage is going to go deeper into the fray, bringing down the Shadow Fiend and chasing away Kataomi. Pure showed up, but Pure is getting chased down. They have the Selly Hammer in a moment from KP. No more Gust available for Pure. They don't even need the Selly Hammer as they just go headlong into the Drow, kill him off. Kataomi tried to delay proceedings with the Avalanche on the back end, but that's not going to help as Entity get full 5-man wiped in the bottom lane by the massive team fight of Talon Esports.
What a good defense that came in there from Talon. They walked in, Q just goes, oh yeah, it's pretty cool that I hit Splat Carapace and you don't have Black Hole anymore, right? Who needs Silencer? Nobody needs it. I think the combinations they've got here from Talon Esports, Solar Guardian, KP can play wherever he wants. As soon as they have Solar Guardian, they can make these team fights going. They've got the Nyx Assassin, who's able to get into these team fights. They can Solar Guardian on top of the Rolling Thunder. They just have beautiful team fight that comes in from Talon, and they understand that they're so far ahead here, and if they send this many members into Entity need to commit that many members to take this tower, right? Because they're so far behind. Yep. They need to commit so many of these members to get into it, and they just don't have anything to respond to these spells that come in from Talon. And I mean, I think Talon are playing really good right now. They get the full 5-man wipe. It's starting to get to a point now where Makoto is almost untouchable. He's going to have BKB very, very soon after soaking up that massive creep wave. KP's at a point now where he's going to have an early Sanj. Would have liked to have seen him go on for a bit of the damage route. You know, KP is one of those players that likes to be for the team rather than for himself. But you know, either way, he still does a lot of damage already. And Entity, they're behind the 8-ball right now. They're going to see if they can get something done here with the smoke. If they can kill 23 Savage, this is going to be big for them. They can get a T1 tower off of it as well.
He just popped a swashbuckle, so he was a little bit vulnerable. Unfortunately for them, he also has a Tumbler's Toy. Man, these items that manipulate movements, if it doesn't cost gold, it should be removed from the game. It's kind of ridiculous. But it'll allow him to just chill in the trees. He swashbuckles now to absolute safety. Kataomi does not have a blink dagger, so there's literally no way that they can catch him right now. He's going to chill up, wasting a lot of their time as well. And as long as they don't get a quick kill onto him, they don't feel safe going for this tower push. Unlike Black Hole, all of the cooldowns on the side of Talon Esports are much, much lower, so they can do the exact same team fight again down bottom. So it's not a safe place to be for the side of Entity. Swashbuckle will come out. And here we go. They're going to start off that same team fight yet again. Solar Guardian does come in, goes onto the Shadow Feed. They want the Stormstormer kill, and they are going to find it. Rolling Thunder still able to connect onto the Undying on the back end of the fight. Fishman will buy time with the Flesh Golem. He comes in, 23 Savage, needs the Shield Crash to stay alive. The swap from Hyde will ensure that he lives. And the Swashbuckle ends up getting the kill onto Fishman. Further north, here's KP chasing down Makoto. And Makoto comes in to finish off Toby. And Kataomi, well, he's a real team player, man. Doesn't want to see his homies dying without him, so he says, I'll join y'all in the fountain. Let's go to the sauna together as they bring down 4 in the bottom lane for the second time around.
Yeah, Talon are just playing really, really well around their spells. They are abusing Solar Guardian, they're abusing the Nyx Assassin. 23 Savage is on a knife edge 90% of the time. And this draft coming in from Talon, it's so fast-paced, they've got save, they've got great team fight. You can just see it here. As soon as the Rolling Thunder comes through, the Solar Guardian comes down, and these heroes like the Shadow Fiend and the Drow, they really don't like people being in their face. And that's why this Pangolier pick was so good that came in here from Talon Esports. They combined it up with the Dawnbreaker, and they have a Nyx Assassin as well, so they have 3 heroes that can instantly get into this fight. And speaking of getting in a fight, Fishman, unfortunately that's a fight that he's going to lose 9 times out of 10, and just the way that Talon are playing, this gives me a lot of hope for them here. They really do not want to be going out of TI, and this is exactly how you need to be playing. Question is, where has been this Talon Esports for the last couple of days, but these guys are playing really, really well right now when it counts. And if they can force tiebreakers, then, hey, they can argue.
And haven't you seen Rocky? There are some competitors need to have their back against the ropes before they pull out their maximum strength, so maybe Talon needed to be in this position where they're close to being eliminated to bring this level of Dota out. And down bottom, we've seen this happen before here, Fluke. Stormstormer was getting close in the lane, has to try and immediately back off, because if he shows, he knows exactly what's going to happen. Solar Guardian just came back off cooldown. Q would have found the stun onto him, and then anything could happen. But for now, it's still going to be Entity. They still have a shot in this game. It's an 8k net worth deficit for them, but Pure is still farming. And it's not just Pure, it's this dual core of Pure as well as the Shadow Fiend with the backup of the Toby Enigma. If there are ever conditions for a comeback from this situation, it's going to be with these style of heroes. The only problem is they still have so much reach on the side of Talon, and more importantly, they're getting so much damage out of Makoto. He has the bot BKB, so now it's time for him to start building the damage. Daedalus is probably going to be coming soon, and not much they can do about it. And Stormstormer, he got caught by the Impale, but he is too close to the tier 2 tower for them to realistically kill him off here. The reinforcements were coming in with the TPs. They get cancelled though, so he won't end up dying, and everybody can still keep farming.
Yeah, they did just force out a few TPs there from Entity, and they're playing nice and fast-paced. This is one of the reasons why that Nyx Assassin is such a strong hero. Not only are his spells amazing, but the fact that you need to put so much more vision on the map. You need to try and have these sentry and obs wards combinations so you can understand where the Nyx Assassin is coming from. You need to constantly have sentries on the ground just so you can see where this Nyx is coming from, and you have to try and think about the angles that he's coming from rather than playing your own kind of game. We've seen how important vision has been throughout this series so far and throughout the entirety of TI. So if you just force them to have to play this different kind of style, it's very, very hard for them to make this work. And Talon are going to try and sneak themselves into Roche. They have a nice little ward here up on the high ground.
Yeah, but look at this. Kataomi also just has Blink Dagger. So if there's ever a time to take a fight, it would be now. He goes in, Avalanche onto 2, tosses back the Lina. There's the combo we wanted. Toss into Requiem, but he doesn't die because the save is there from KP with the Solar Guardian. And now suddenly it's Stormstormer who's isolated, Stormstormer who's left behind, and Stormstormer who's killed. The fight isn't over though because 23 Savage, he finds the draw range on the high ground. There is going to be help though from Entity. Kataomi jumps in, bails out the draw by killing off the 23 Savage Pango. It's a 1-1 trade. But they still have positioning around the Roshan pit. Makoto, though, is very, very low, and Toby still has Black Hole. So Entity technically have the advantage around this Roshan pit, but this fight is definitely not over just yet.
Oh, they're so scared to try and pick up that haste rune. You could tell that Makoto didn't want to throw away his life there. But they were so close to being able to blow up that Lina. I think if that was the combination that Entity were able to pull off, take down Makoto before he gets his BKB off, that would have been a team fight 100 days of the week there for Entity. It would have been a very, very easy team fight for them to win, and they would have been able to probably get the Roche off the back of it as well. So Entity, they've got the combinations, but they're just behind in net worth, man. Like you can see here, they're able to scout out with the Lina illusions. They come in, Kataomi, they get the toss back onto the Lina. The Requiem goes down, and just the save that comes in from the Solar Guardian. If this was going to be a double LSA into a Dragon save and he wasn't getting attacked by the zombies, that probably would have been a kill onto Pure as well as Stormstormer, and they would have been able to run this fight over the top. And then Talon, most likely with an Aegis in pocket, probably about 10k ahead, would have been much more scary for them to try and fight into right now. So no Solar Guardian for them just yet. It's going to be up in another 8 seconds though. I'm going to try and find something here with Q.
Part 2 of this fight is probably going to start soon, as the posturing around the Roshan pit has not ended. They actually get Kataomi with a little bit of damage. Gets caught with the Impale. Man, what range are these spells? Long range Impale, long range Magic Missile. Kataomi is dead now without buyback. Roshan starting to regen up, but Makoto really wants to go back into this. Toby has dropped down the Midnight Pots and the Malefice. Here comes Salvation, thanks to the Solar Guardian. They swap Toby back into the middle of several heroes. Pure not going to be able to help out from afar, even though Stormstormer did drop the Requiem. Makoto has activated BKB as Pure now, chasing down KP. They're trying to get these slows out of the Frost Arrows, but they know that all of these heroes are so mobile. You can't catch up to any of them right now, Fluke. 2 heroes gone. But still, Talon spent enough resources that they don't feel confident going into the pit unless they get a DD rune, which Gaimin says, nope, we're still going to have a bit more entertainment around the pit.
Yeah, and Monster Tiny as well as the Enigma are gone. That's all the catch that is out the window there for Entity. And, you know, obviously Talon understand that they've got highly mobile cores. They're going to be okay with how they've been playing. And Talon, they're just getting further and further ahead right now. 9,000 gold lead for them so far here, 20 minutes into this game. They haven't been able to blow the game out just yet, but they are definitely showing that the way that these heroes combine with each other, the Solar Guardian in combination with the Nyx Assassin, how strong the Venge has been as well. Hyde's been playing an immaculate game so far. The swaps in towards the Magic Missiles. Oh, Hyde, he's found Toby.
They found Toby, and they've... Wow! Okay, well, 23 Savage just quickly gets the assassination onto this Enigma. Man, Toby has just not been allowed to play Dota. They get back in. Kataomi tries to go for the Avalanche, but he gets caught in immediately with the Spy Carapace. Hyde gets some additional stars out as well, but the real damage dealer is Makoto, who shows up with their newfangled Chrysalis, and they're able to bring down 2. This time around, they might feel confident enough to go into the pit. And indeed, that is the case. They're going headlong into it. Hyde has maxed out Vengeance Aura, maxed out Wave of Terror. So even though they don't have a DD, they should be able to get Roche very close to dying. But they're not going to do it that quickly. So Entity still have a chance to try and teamfight around this. Toby still has a chance for a Blink Black Hole. The question is, do they take it, Fluke? With these teamfight spells, do they try to go for another interrupt, or do they just let the Aegis go?
It's so hard for them to use Blink Black Hole. They've got a Venge to deal with. They've got a Nyx Assassin. They've got the KP Dawnbreaker who can always Solar Guardian on top of it. Like, there's just so many issues that this Enigma is going to have pre-BKB that I think it's just going to be very hard for them to teamfight back into this game. They're doing a good job at least trying to get pickoffs where they can, but Talon is starting to hit that critical mass, right? You saw how much damage that Makoto is able to do with this max out Vengeance, or extra 32% base damage, by the way. So as soon as these stats start coming in here for Makoto, he's going to start doing a whole boatload more damage in these team fights. Same thing with KP as well, right? Like, I said that I would have liked to have seen him go for the more greedy kind of Deso BKB build with the Aghanim Shard, but the amount of damage he's going to be able to do with Avenge around him is just going to be ridiculous. Like, I don't think any of these heroes are really going to be able to stand up against the massive amount of physical damage they're going to be doing here for the side of for Talon. And looking across the board for a lot of the items that they've got right now, 23 Savage, he's hit that critical mass of him having Blinken as well as the Diffusal Blade. They've got BKB Chrysalis now on Makoto. He has the Daedalus flying out to him right now. And the fact that KP has just gone for this Heaven's Halberd in towards the BKB just goes to show that they understand that Makoto's a damage dealer. They just need to make sure that he's enabled in these team fights and making sure that they're getting the kills. Oh, Blink in from Q.
My God, what a player. Q.
They stopped the Requiem.
The 2-hero Impale.
Oh my
they stopped the Requiem. Get a 2-hero LSA to stop both Requiem and Black Hole. And now Makoto in full turret mode, demolishing these heroes. Fishman barely escapes before he gets stunned up out of the TP. That's 3 heroes dead in a heartbeat. Yet again, the initiation coming in from this Nyx Assassin. Yeah, sure, Q dies, but hashtag worth when you enable the fight so perfectly for Makoto.
Nyx Assassin, baby. What a hero. What an absolute hero. This hero is going to be so hotly contested for the entirety of TI. If these main stage teams are not got their Nyx Assassin ideas in order, and this should be able to go to show why this hero is so strong. He blinked in and just popped Spike Carapace. He went into 4 heroes and he didn't care. Like, that's ridiculous to me that this hero has been able to do so much, sets up everything. To be fair, we won't talk about KP Soul Guardian in the background. Didn't hit anything, but it doesn't matter. Because the rest of the team fight was so easy for them. Like, you can just see how enjoyable this is for Talon. They're doing so much work right now. 23 Savage is having the time of his life playing Penglir. He's like, I don't have to hit creeps and carry. Hell yeah, Makoto, baby, you got that down on lock. I'm just going to roll around and just do what I can in these team fights. And Talon, they definitely came in today with an idea. They came into today with a lot of confidence in themselves. They knew that their backs are against the wall. They have to win a lot of their series for today. And if they get the 2-0 here against Entity, then all they need to do is win one game up against Secret. And, I mean, if they play like this, then it looks like it's definitely possible.
And if they play like this and they get access to the Makoto Lina or the Q Nyx Assassin, then suddenly anything seems possible right now for Talon Esports.
Yeah.
They're going for this tier 2 tower in the top lane. Still have this Aegis for another 2 minutes. And they still have tier 1s. They haven't lost a single tier 1 tower, Fluke, all across the map. Every single time that Entity have tried, they've been rebuffed in pretty extreme fashion. They tried a few times down bottom, lost out grandiosely. Can't really make a play middle. And they're grouping up as 5 again on the side of Entity because they realize just how much their map is shrinking. But at the same time, look at this hesitation because they're also like, well, we can go bottom as a 5-man ball, but do we have BKB on Enigma? No, we do not. Yep. Do we have BKB on Jaw Ranger? No, we do not. Well, without these spells, we actually can't do anything. And unfortunately, it seems like Talon Esports had the exact same read. They're like, wait a second, we have BKB on Lina, we have BKB on Dawnbreaker. We should go exploit the fact that we have these items and they don't. And they're going to smoke up to try and force a fight on this bottom side of the map.
Okay, Makoto. Okay, Q's going to walk in. Spike Carapace. The Impale misses.
There's not going to be the Impale. Wait,
this
what?
is awkward.
Multi-shot doesn't connect, so he's allowed to blink back on the Nyx Assassin. 23 Savage was a bit too far forward, but Q has bought some vision on the high ground, and High just swaps him back on this Vengeful Spirit, so they can't bring down this Pango. Nonetheless, though, Entity do not get caught out. They made the correct map read as to what was about to happen. And thank God that they did, because they had very high likelihood of being wiped if they got caught out.
Yeah, that was some fast fingers there from Q. He saw the animation that came in there from Toby, and so he just popped the Spike Carapace, walked in. There was a lot of good vision that came in from Entity, but you can just see how strong Talon are, right? They just brute forced their way into that. It was getting pretty awkward. I thought maybe if that was going to be a weird team fight they wanted to take, it might not have worked out all too well for them, but you can just tell with the amount of confidence they have, with the amount of net worth they have right now, that they can kind of walk around and do whatever they want. So they've taken control of this triangle right now. Entity, they know that they have to walk around as 5 heroes just to take some of this space back. Like, there's so much space that's just being taken by Talon. They have to play around their own vision here. Storm like literally has to get his hand held by Fishman, because if any of these heroes go out on the map and they don't have a sentry ward anywhere, they know that they're just going to get Nyx Assassin and Dawnbreaker, and they're just going to die and they're going to lose all these towers. And you can see how scared they are because they haven't had any vision control. The amount of sentries they have to get out, the amount of vision they've had to get out and get denied, it's just so hard for Entity to play on the map when it's so dark against the Nyx Assassin.
Yeah, Nyx has Gem right now. You can see the reflection of what this Nyx has been doing to them economically and psychologically. Psychologically by their group up, but economically by the net worth of Fishman. not been able to do anything in the game, has arcane boots and a chainmail 28 minutes into the game, despite having access to a Philly Stone, because all the gold that's coming from the Philly Stone going right back into the investment of wards, at least gets a mech right now, so that is something, some degree of additional heal to help out Pure or Stormstormer. But at the same time, Pure and Stormstormer need to be able to outlay damage here, and you can't do that without farm, and they're being denied farm all across the map. Sure, they have access to these BKBs, and Pure has access to BKB, Hurricane Pike, and the Aghanim Shard, but he's not really survivable even with this BKB. Game feels pretty hard here, Fluke. If you're in their position on Entity, once they get BKBs, do they try and smoke up and force a fight with this Enigma? But they don't have a Lotus Orb or a Linken's Fury or anything to block the swap, so it's so hard if you don't have vision of the Vengeful Spirit about what to do. And now, Nyx Assassin sets up yet again. Q comes in with the Blink Stun.
No black
and
hole!
Toby, no black hole, cancelled almost immediately. Makoto just throwing in the right clicks from the low ground, earning himself a double kill. Swap back onto Stormstormer. He's in the midst of all these heroes. Pure's now on the high ground, able to get out some right click damage onto 23 Savage. So there's some positivity in this fight, as Hyde also going to get caught out and right click down. They forced a retreat from KP. So finally a successful fight happening from Entity. It does require them to buy back on Toby. And they're not done just yet. They keep the chase going. Kataomi found KP. Starbreaker will buy a little bit of time. Does have access to that Aghanim Shard. If not for the Shard, it would have been tossed back into Toby's waiting hands. But it is there. So time is bought for KP to properly escape.
Okay.
Entity finally get a small little punch back there. They almost lost Pure. They keep Pure alive. They get a kill on 23 Savage, and they don't lose a fight, and therefore will not be in danger of losing their base. I say that, but top lane, Makoto. Oh no. Him and Q refuse to stop. The rest of the team has backed either through retreating on KP or being in the fountain, but they just will not stop the train of pain.
Watch this right click that comes in from Makoto. He gets the right click onto the Enigma, silences him, and the black hole gets cancelled. I don't think I have seen a rougher time for an Enigma than what I've seen from Toby today. He gets it cancelled by a Mindbreaker. He gets it cancelled by the Spike Carapace of a Nyx Assassin. This is why BKB is so important for this hero. You need to be able to enable yourself to get this black hole. He was in a great position. If they black hole Makoto there, they're able to take him down, do a lot of damage with Pure. They had Stormstormer in the right position as well. If they take this Lina down, then they start to wrangle this game back in. But Toby, man, it's just a series of unfortunate events for this Enigma, and maybe that's why we're seeing this hero fall out of priority again. There's a whole lot of different, wide variety of heroes that we've been seeing throughout the entirety of the group stages, and I don't know, man. It's very boom or bust, this hero. This hero can look absolutely unstoppable, or this hero can just have the roughest go around, and this black hole feels almost next to useless. That's why I probably would have liked to have seen him go for something along the lines of like this Wraith Pact. He's got this urn now, but he has to go for this BKB. He wants to play the Blink Plate, wants to play around the black hole, but he just hasn't been able to connect one just yet.
Yep. Speaking of Wraith Pacts, the Vengeful Spirit of Hyde has managed to pick one up, and they're also managing to entirely evade the smoke. With Wraith Pact, that is pretty huge because they're already struggling with damage output on the side of Entity. Now it's going to become even worse, even more difficult to accomplish. And the smoke from Entity doesn't connect, and they wanted to be able to get the kill so that they have positioning for this Roshan respawn. Regrettably, they're not going to be able to find the space, so still stays very favorable for the side of Talon Esports. 18k gold lead. The experience lead is pretty significant as well, but the big thing is the positioning on the map and a 90% win probability. Woo! Okay. We've seen steeper comebacks in this tournament so far. It's not impossible, but it's very, very difficult. That being said, though, if there's ever going to be a lineup, like we've said, that has the tools to come back, it will probably involve a black hole. BKB will eventually emerge. If Talon don't finish this game in the next, like, what, 10, 15 minutes, eventually he'll get Linken's Sphere as well. And then suddenly he can actually channel the full black hole onto these heroes. And then what do Talon do at that point in the game? The challenge, though, for Entity is getting there in one piece somehow.
Yeah, I think that's the scary thing, is trying to get towards these items. They do have the Basher that's coming out now, or that's been out for a while on 23 Savage, so it's not like the BKB Linken's is going to be the end-all and be-all for them. He will have to try and pray to Gaimin that he doesn't get bashed this time around. Entity is going to go in Q. Okay.
It's a nice little start to the fight to try and bring down Hyde, but there is going to be the initiation from the ultimate from Solar Guardian. Unfortunately, they've already brought down Toby as well. The right-click damage from Hokori a bit too extreme. Rolling Thunder from 23 Savage, looking for Stormstormer. Stormstormer doesn't have BKB anymore, so has to worry about this. Nice little bash coming in from the 23 Savage, Swashbuckle. But they don't really want to take this fight. Kataomi buys space with the Avalanche. And man, Makoto's right-click damage literally just kills these heroes in seconds. And without Black Hole available, no Undying either. Path to Roshan, very wide open. They're going to be able to bring this down quite quickly.
Yep, Roshan's up. Makoto has the Satanic now, so he just heals up nice and freely. You're going to have a lot of stuff to try and deal with here in these next couple of team fights. Aghanim Shard's going to be up now as well for Talon. Makoto's just trying to figure out his item slots here so we can actually pick up everything from the Roshan. So he's got his Ag Shard. I think they actually sent it back. Yeah, they're going to give it to Hyde. So I like this Ag Shard that comes in from the Vengeful Spirit. The Magic Missile bounces. It means that you have to kind of think about these magic missiles because they're very low cooldown. They do a lot of damage. They bounce around a lot. You know, every 8 seconds, that's at least 2 or 3 in some of these team fights if Hyde stays alive. So it's going to be very hard now for Entity to play around this. They need to pop their BKBs early. They need to try and get these initiations going in. They did a lot of damage to Makoto, so there was a lot of right-click damage that came in from Priel and Stormstormer, but there's no Enigma, so there's no Black Hole for them to play around. There's none of this extra initiation to go in, so Entity very far behind the 8 ball. I would like to see KP, after he gets this AC, to go in towards the Aghanim Scepter. I think you have Ags. Oh, okay, they found Stormstormer.
Yet again, they've got him out. Swashbuckle will be there with the bash. 23 Savage going in right now, trying to get this kill. Kataomi's the one started up, bashed up onto the high ground. Will be forced off down to the low ground, but doesn't really matter. They still find the right place. Makoto now trying to eliminate the Undying, and they go forward with the Solar Guardian. They've already caught out Toby. Stormstormer caught yet again. Does still have BKB. They forced a buyback from Fishman. Stormstormer patient enough to not panic and pop his BKB. Able to get back into the base, but now with all these heroes dead and an Aegis still in tow, they might as well try going for this mid lane push. Got a fairly large wave coming in. They're demolishing these creeps. What can they do on the side of Entity to stop this from happening?
I really don't know. Makoto is kind of untouchable now. He's got a Wraith Pack behind him. He's always got Hyde behind him. Q's playing really good Dota. Just constantly getting in the face of Entity, and it's so hard for them because Toby is playing this Enigma, and he kind of just gets caught out. Oh no, they found the Drought.
Oh god, Pure found himself bashed up by the Swashbuckle again, and Makoto just blinks on him with the BKB. Finishes him off. Hyde finds the swap back onto Stormstormer. He gets himself bashed by 23 Savage. Both the cores are dead of Entity, and their double letters will emerge. GG, well played as core. Talon Esports have done it, taken the 2-0, made this a very interesting day of Dota, and created a multi-team tie at the bottom of Group B. This is Talon Esports keeping the TI-11 dream alive here, Fluke. They will not go gently into the sweet night. They're going to make it competitive until the very last second.
Ooh, it's looking spicy. This is a very spicy kind of group stage that we've got going forward here. Talon obliterate Entity in Game 1